to the Last Seed podcast. It's your boy John with my guy Ty. We got a lot to talk about today. I told Ty that we basically have to do an episode today. So let's just jump right into it. So obviously we haven't been talking on this pod during the playoffs. We didn't even talk after the Jacksonville game. We were going to do a pod episode either way after the Denver game,
Mhm.
but a lot of fallout coming out from this one. Obviously, the big news: Sean McDermott getting fired today as Bills coach. What was your initial reactions to that?
Just shocked. Definitely didn't see it coming. Um, it's definitely caught me off guard. I think it caught pretty much everyone off guard. Um, but yeah, it's something like I saw the text message from you this morning, and then my phone started going off a million times, and I'm just like, "What the heck is going on?" And then once it's out there, then people are messaging me, I'm messaging other people, and they're like, "Where'd you see that? Like, is this legit?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah." And then within a matter of minutes, everyone's like, "Yep, saw it, or saw the report, saw this person reported it, that person." I'm like, "Yeah, it's everywhere."
Yeah, I have Rappaport on notifications, and I saw it, and I'm like, yeah, it's about as reputable of a source as you can get. Um,
Right,
Man, I mean, and my initial reactions was I was pretty surprised as well. Especially considering, in my opinion, I really don't think this loss was really much of McDermott's fault. We'll get into
right,
more. But anyways, first and foremost, I want to say, you know what I mean. Despite McDermott being ousted as coach, I think that he deserves a lot of praise for what he did for this franchise. He brought this franchise out of, you know what I mean, out of hopelessness. You know what I mean, the drought. You know what I mean, for
right.
how long it lasted, 16, 17 years, whatever it was. Um,
Mhm.
Obviously, he brought us out of that. And that was even before Josh got here. You know, he did that with Tyrod Taylor as his quarterback, and a pretty lackluster team that year. They were kind of trying to tank that year, and McDermott did a great coaching job willing that team to playoffs. And but yeah, I mean, I wish McDermott nothing but the best in his future, and I hope that we can somehow find a better coach in him because it's going to be a very hard thing to do.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you think this move was justified?
I mean, yeah, I feel like there was a plan. I feel like whether it was the beginning of the season, midway through the season, whatever it was, I mean, this wasn't something that was just made, yesterday
Mhm.
or Saturday night after the game. I don't think Pagula was like, "Yeah, we lost. Let's just go fire McDermott now." Like this is something I feel like that's been in the works to where, it was probably either Super Bowl or bust.
Yeah.
And McDermott, obviously, we didn't get there, and I felt like this was kind of like that last straw for him, where it's like, hey, we gave you 9 seasons to do it, and unfortunately, you didn't even get to the big game. So
From that aspect, I feel you can make that's the best case you can make for me. If you want to say that the loss against Denver was his fault, you know what I mean? I'm just canceling that out completely because I feel McDermott this might have been one of his best coaching jobs this year, given all the injuries and all the other stuff that we had to deal through. For him to
right,
get us to this point, I feel McDermott did a great job. I felt the Denver game was more so on Allen than anybody being careless with the ball. We just gotta call it the way it is. But I guess the thing I'm most disappointed in this is that it just feels like Brandon Bean is escaping any accountability for what's going on here, and I feel
hmm
the person that's more at fault. What do you think about that?
yeah, I agree with that. I tend to agree with you, and a lot of people are saying the same thing. Like Bean should have been the one out, not McDermott. I mean, the only way I'll kind of listen to like what he got fired for was probably because, hey, it's a lot of people don't get 9 years to have a chance to do as much as he, tried to do, especially when you have Josh Allen.
Hmm.
Um, so that's really the way I kind of look at it. But with Bean, he's the one that's, in on all the draft stuff and, drafting this player and that player. moving up, moving back, or whatever. And he's had some hits, but he's had some misses as well. Um, I'm wondering if this could be like another Doug Whaley type of thing where they keep him around to the draft and then see about maybe after they let him go, or maybe this is something where they said to him, hey, this is your last chance too. Like if you nail this draft, we'll keep you around, and if we do good, we'll keep you around. If it's another year like this year, then we're gonna let you go.
Yeah. The only thing that concerns me about that being the case is that if he's leading the coaching hire, the coaching search, you know what I mean? And if you're talking about that as a guy that's probably, you know what I mean, is probably one bad season away from being fired, this could become an even bigger disaster than what we're talking about right now. I mean, it's not even close to disaster yet, but it can
Right,
be disaster if the coaching hire goes bad, another bad draft, because you know what I mean. I know a lot of people want to say like where you have Josh Allen will be good no matter what. I mean, we can look in the AFC at teams like the Bengals. I mean, they have Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins. The Ravens have a great roster, and those were two teams that weren't even in the playoffs last season and have
right,
inconsistencies in certain seasons as well. And the fact that we never really had those seasons to where it's like, hey, we didn't even make the playoffs. We were very consistent. Outside of probably the Chiefs, we've probably been the most consistent team in the league. And
yeah,
even the Chiefs didn't even make the playoffs this year. So I mean, this can backfire. I mean, I,
mhm,
I think that's what a lot of people aren't getting is that the defense could theoretically take a huge step back next season because I felt McDermott was making water in the wine a lot of times with this defense, especially if the injuries. There's been a lot of whiffs on free agency and in the draft, as you have said. So yeah, I mean that's the one thing that's really concerning me is that if a defense takes a huge step back and the offense your offense is always going to be good with Josh Allen, but the defense does take a step back. Are we going to be a team that's going to be like, you know what I mean, the Ravens, the Bengals this year, where we're struggling just to make the playoffs?
right, right. And I got to think if McDermott's gone, you're probably bringing in a guy who's going to hire his own coordinator. So,
Hmm.
I'm not going to be surprised if Babbage is out, or maybe he takes a different role on the team and goes back to like linebackers coach or whatever. Same thing with Brady. I mean, he's got a lot of head coaching, you know, interviews too. So I mean, for all we know, maybe he gets hired there. But I feel like the Bills, they have a plan. They're not just gonna fire McDermott just to do it. I think they have a guy or a couple guys in mind who are not signed yet, whether it's at the NFL level, the college level, wherever it is. I feel like they have somebody or a couple people in mind to where they're like, hey, we're doing this because we are pretty dang sure we're landing this guy or one of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, I would hope that that is the case. That you know, what I mean, they have their eyes on at least someone or maybe a few guys that they're really saying like, hey, we want X, we want whoever. So
Right.
let's talk about that. I mean, let's go. Yeah, I know
Let's
you.
talk about it.
Yeah, I know you made your little list. So as of 11:30 this morning, I have I have put down the names of guys that were odds-on favorites to be the Bills head coach.
Okay, is this just off of something, or is this what you think?
No, this is off of something. This is not me doing anything. This is off
Oh, okay.
odds site. These are the top guys. One,
Gotcha.
I will say that one was Mike LaFleur, who was
Mhm.
I think was re-signed, or Matt LaFleur. I'm sorry if I'm getting that
Matt
wrong.
LaFleur, yeah, from the Packers.
Yeah, he was on this list, but he did get a contract extension, so
Right, right,
throw him off the list. Just
right.
I think he was like fourth or fifth. But we'll go through these names one by one, and we'll
I'll
talk.
give you a thumbs up or a thumbs down.
Well, what do you want to do them? Do you want to rank them like a letter grade, or do you want to rank them like 1 through 10?
Is there 10?
Huh?
Is there 10?
There's not 10 of them, but like rank 1 to 10 as it whereas like okay,
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah, 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 yeah.
do you want to rank them as like
Oh no, we'll do it like 1 through 10. Like 1 being the
okay,
lowest, 10 being the best.
okay,
You
okay.
want me to write it down, or you got something?
You might have to write it down. I don't have a pen. Let's
All
see.
right, well,
Oh, wait, I got a pen. I got a pen.
that's what happens when you're not prepared.
I lost it.
All
How's it,
right.
Robin? How we going, GD? How's it going?
I'll write it down too, just in case if your dog eats yours or
Okay.
something.
So I'm going to
Start from the bottom.
start from about. Okay, so these are this is start from least favorite to highest favorite.
Alright, here, I'm gonna put my name and your name and see how similar we
Yep.
end up.
Yep. So first name up,
Okay.
Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin, you
Mike.
said? Okay, it cut out for, like, a quick second.
Yeah.
Mike Tomlin. Alright, the floor is yours.
I think this would be. I would give this an 8 out of 10. Now the
So you
only.
think it'd be, like, a good thing?
Yeah, I think it would be a good thing. So higher towards 10, more towards 10, the better I think it's going to be. So
Okay.
for a lot of reasons, I think this would be pretty good. I think this would probably be the safest decision. Um, just mainly because obviously Tomlin's won a Super Bowl. He's been there, done that. He's a proven commodity. You're not. I don't think we would I said about the possibility of us missing the playoffs next year. I think if we get Tomlin, we're still contending like we are.
Mhm.
The but there are a lot of downsides to this to whereas like I feel he's very similar to McDermott in many ways. So
Took the words right out of my mouth.
if you're firing McDermott, which I didn't really like in the first place, so maybe that's why I'm someone that maybe does like the Tomlin move is you
Mhm.
I really wouldn't mind it, but maybe Tomlin just has more experience, you know what I mean, in those
Right.
games. But and also too, I felt Tomlin was a little burnt out. You could just kind of just see it in him. I don't know. It's just I think he's someone that could use a year or two off, and I don't know if he even wants to do it right now. But the coaching Josh Allen can be very enticing. I think Tomlin's a hell of a coach, so that's why I have him at 8 out of 10.
Right. No, I get that. For mine, I would have to say I would have to go a little bit less. I'd have to go 5 out of 10.
5 out of 10.
And my reason is because, like you said, I feel like he's similar to McDermott. Um, I'm just trying to jot everything down. I feel like, even though he has that Super Bowl and, he knows, what it's like, um, I feel like it's kinda I don't know, I feel like the best way I could put it is, like, it's kind of the same thing in a way.
Hmm.
Um, and not to take anything against him or away from him, like, he's a great coach and everything. We know what he's done in Pittsburgh year in and year out. Um, I just think that, like, it would be something similar, like, I can see us getting to the playoffs and stuff, I just don't know if I could see us, like, making a real run.
Hmm.
Um, and I think we would have to give up some type of, like, trade capital or something for him, so it's at the end of the day, it's like, I don't know, me personally, if it'd be worth it on top to pay him and whatever we'd have to give up.
Hmm.
So that's where I'm at.
So you got a 5 out of 10. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I think with Josh Allen, maybe you're saying he could be a bit more of an aggressive coach. I mean, in recent years, I mean, look who he's had as quarterback. I mean, ever since Ben Roethlisberger, and with Ben, he did win Super Bowl, and he did make a lot more deep playoff runs. So it's tough to say. I don't think this happens though.
Yeah, I don't think it does either.
I think Tomlin. I think I would bet more so Tomlin never coaches again than him
Mhm.
Buffalo. Um,
Right.
But let's go to the next game on the list. This one's very interesting. Another one I don't think happens, but we gotta say it.
Let me
Bill
hear it.
Bill Belichick. You
Oh, here we go. I don't know how to spell his last name, but we're gonna sound it out. All right. What do you think?
Bill Belichick. I would rank this one. This is just such a. I'm gonna say 5 out of 10.
All right.
And that might be being a little generous because Bill Belichick, I think, is one of the best coaches of all time. But I think it's possible the game has passed him by. Um, Things in college didn't go great this year, from what I'm understanding.
Mhm.
And the college game's a lot different. Um, some positives though. He's gonna. He probably. I think he still has a bone to pick with New England.
Mhm.
So that's something I do like. But yeah, I. This is not something I feel happens, but if you want someone for big games, want someone that has the experience, obviously he has 6 Super Bowls as a head coach, even more as
Right.
he had a couple more as a coordinator. So you can't say the situations that get too big for him at all. Um, he maybe still has a couple seasons where you can say like, "Hey, Bill does have something left in the tank." But
Mhm.
I'm gonna have to rank this a 5 out of 10. I think it's very possible. Also, the game's passed him by. Look what happened to Pete Carroll this year. That was just a disaster in Vegas. What do you got?
Right. I'm pretty much with you. I put 6 out of 10.
Okay.
Reason so, like you said, the game could have passed him by. Didn't have the best success with UNC in college, but like you said, college is a different game than the pros. Um, I maybe deep down the line, I could see maybe him coming in and them bringing on some of the guys he's familiar with like coordinators and stuff like that. And maybe it's one of those things where they just give it one last like you know, hey, we're gonna just do a 2 or 3 year deal, and like we're just gonna try to just go in as much as we can, and see if it works. It works. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Hmm.
But like I said, I doubt it would happen. So that's why I'm kinda more, like, in the middle or just above the middle with it. I wouldn't rule it completely out, but I definitely say it's kinda mostly not likely.
Yeah, I don't think it's very likely, but I'm not gonna lie. Let's just say hypothetically this does happen. You can't help but feel just a little bit excited if it did. I mean, this is a guy that
Yeah.
is as proven as it gets. All those Super Bowls. I mean, that that one part in your mind's gonna say like, man, if he still has it, you know what I mean?
Right,
We could be looking at 2 easy Super Bowls here, very possibly.
right.
But a lot of if, ands, or buts. Don't think it happens, but it would. This is probably the most fun one, I would say.
Yeah, yeah.
Next name on the list, Brian Flores.
Mm.
What's your what's your take on that one?
Mr. Flores. I'm gonna go it's a good one.
This is a very good one in my opinion.
It's
I
a
think
very
there
good
are
one. It's a very good one, but I'm gonna stay at 6 out of 10.
6 out of 10.
My reasoning is because I can't see them getting rid of a defensive-minded head coach for another defensive-minded head coach.
Hmm.
To me, if you're gonna do that, you're better off keeping McDermott and changing the coordinators around, in my opinion.
Right.
Um, Flores is such a hot name out there. Like, I think he's gonna be a great head coach somewhere. Maybe he does come here. I wouldn't rule it out. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if like the Bills gave him an interview.
Hmm.
Not gave him one, but, like, asked, "Hey, you wanna do an interview with us or whatnot?" Wouldn't be surprised, just to see, maybe if he got on an interview, what his, like, plan or idea would be here. Um, and maybe he needs something like, a Josh Allen to be like, "Hey, like, I know I'm more defensive, but, like, I can do what McDermott did. Like, I can bring in an offensive coordinator and still call the plays on defense."
Hmm.
And whatnot. I just don't know. I feel like that's not really the route they would like want to go in. I could be wrong though.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree mostly what you said. I'm gonna go with a 6 out of 10 as well. I think Brian Flores. I think if he does get a second chance somewhere, I think he will prosper. Granted, you know what I mean. If he gets a solid chance, he needs. I think
Right.
quarterback to support him. That was
Mhm.
downfall in Miami. He ended up being right in the long term about Tua. That was like the big thing that he didn't get along with management with was, you know what I mean. He wanted to draft Justin Herbert, and
Mhm.
looks like he was right. But anyways, um I don't feel this is the direction the Bills go in. Again, another defensive guy, like you said, but maybe he does switch things up on defense. You know, we have had struggles in the playoffs. Obviously, that's been the big thing about them firing McDermott is like, you know, when we've been eliminated in the playoffs, we have struggled. Even though I don't really think this one was his fault, but years past,
Right.
you can bring up those were that was the fault. So if you think Flores does something differently in that aspect, I
Mhm.
I can't rule it out completely, but yeah, I don't feel this is something that happens.
Right.
Would not be surprised to see him getting a head coach job elsewhere. Okay, next name on the list, Mike McCarthy.
Mm.
What do you think about this name?
Let me see. Just writing it down. Uh, whoops! I almost wrote the wrong thing. All right, Mike McCarthy. I'm gonna go 4 out of 10.
4 out of 10.
I know mine are kind of fluctuating through, 4, 5, and 6, but I would lean more unlikely with him just because I don't know. I feel like I mean, how has he been out for a while with coaching?
He's only been out 1 year.
Was it 1 year?
He left Dallas, yeah.
Okay, so that's the last time he coached
Yeah.
was Dallas. The thing with me is I kinda feel like I wouldn't be surprised more if he got, like, a coordinator job first,
Mhm.
um, but, I mean, he has the experience and stuff, that's a guy, like I feel like you can throw him almost in the Belichick conversation, not with, like, the accomplishments and everything, but, like, I feel like he's kinda in that same boat with Belichick for me, to where it's like, I don't see it happening, but, like, if they reached out and, like, or put his name out there, I wouldn't be like, "Holy cow, like, why are they doing this?"
Right.
But yeah, I'd go 4 out of 10. What about you?
I'd probably have to say 4 out of 10 for me as well. It wouldn't really enthuse me, to be honest.
Mhm.
Yeah, he won a Super Bowl with Rodgers, and the funny thing I've always said about McCarthy is, like, with especially with all these coaches, like, if you stack up, like, his resume up next to Tomlin, up next to Sean Payton, et cetera, they look almost exactly the same, but for some reason,
Yeah.
Mike McCarthy, you know what I mean, gets looked at as a bad coach compared to those other guys, at least. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, I don't know. I don't feel this is the route they go in. I feel like the Titans' job is more Mike McCarthy to me. I think he's a floor coach. He's
Gotcha.
that can come in if you want to just be in the playoff hunt. He can do
Mhm.
that for you if you're a team that's been struggling. I think we're a team that wants more. He's had struggles in the playoffs in the past, ever since that Super Bowl. So I
Right.
have to go 4 out of 10 for this one.
Alright. Who's next up? How many more do you have? I'm making a little chart.
We have 4 more on this list.
4 more. Holy smokes.
So now we're really getting into names that have been really talked about a lot.
Oh boy, here we go.
Next name up, Mike McDaniel,
Aw, snap.
formerly of the Miami Dolphins.
Mike McDouble.
This has probably been my lowest ranked one. And it's not
Wha
because I have a great offensive mind. I think he'd be a great offensive coordinator if let's say hypothetically you did hire a Mike Tomlin, you did hire a Bill Belichick. I would love Mike McDaniel as my offensive coordinator. But
Mhm.
as a coach, I think he lacks that leadership mentality, and I think that's what really showed in Miami, and that was his downfall. I could be wrong. He could go somewhere else to be a head coach and be very good, but I don't know if I want to take that chance. I would rank this 3 out of 10. Um, yeah.
3 out of 10. Wow, the lowest ranking we have so far.
And what would you have to say about Mike McDaniel?
I'm gonna blow your socks off right now.
Let's
I'm
hear it.
going I'm going 7 out of 10.
Oh, okay. Let's hear it.
So, I made a list earlier, I think I sent it to you, of my top 3 guys, not in any particular order, who I think would make the most sense at the time. I didn't do a whole lot with, like, diving deep into it or anything like that. This is just an initial thing, I could be like, "Hey, I'm taking Mike McDaniel off."
Hmm.
But this is my initial ranking. I go 7 out of 10 with Mike McDaniel because he's a younger guy. He is that offensive-minded head coach, and I feel like that's the direction the Bills are going in. I feel like they want a young, aggressive head coach that they can plug right in with Allen, and honestly, I don't think McDaniel did a terrible job in Miami, given, when he had a healthy Waddle and a healthy Hill. Those are 2 really good receivers, one of the top duos in the league. And he's got a good running back with Achan. I think, he would fit well with, with this offense with Josh, with Cook. And I think, he's another guy that could just help make this offense more explosive. Um, Not saying that's exactly what we need to get over this hump or whatnot, but I do get what you're saying about, lacking certain things. Um, I feel like in a way, I feel like he could maybe help like being like that younger guy, not saying he would fit in more, but I feel like maybe it would just be kind of like a more chill vibe, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, I have him higher on my list. I just think that's the route the Bills are, trying to go. Like I said, I could be completely wrong.
Hmm.
They could hire Brian Flores, and I'm like, okay, I was completely wrong. But yeah, I just think that's kind of the route they're heading, so that's why I have him at 7 out of 10.
I would feel more comfortable with Mike McDaniel if he did get an ace defensive coordinator. One thing I will say in McDaniel's defense, I felt like a lot of his playbook that he wanted to do in Miami was kind of closed off because I feel Tua is very limited.
Right.
With Josh Allen, that would not be an issue anymore. I think you would see a lot more of McDaniel being able to do what he wants to do. I just feel this is a huge Pandora's box to me. You know what I mean? This is one that can really backfire and backfire horribly if
True.
things do go bad. But
But like you said, he could be someone who just excels at being an offensive coordinator, more than the head coach and having all the other responsibilities. So
yeah, like I would love him as offensive coordinator if you did. Like I
yeah,
said,
I would too. I wouldn't be mad if they brought him in as an offensive coordinator either.
yeah,
So
if hypothetically you did get a defensive guy as head coach and went that direction. So
right,
these next three names, these are guys
I'm ready.
we're someone we're very familiar with, Joe Brady.
Joe Brady.
And I think he's gonna tie McDaniel for me. I think you know what? I'm gonna maybe put him a peg down. 2 out of 10. 2 out of
We
10.
have the lowest rank. I wrote my ranking before you, by the way. So
Yeah. I'm gonna say 2 out of 10 because I really don't feel this is the direction the Bills go in. Who knows what's going on in that building, but I don't see them going with Joe Brady. I don't see him as a guy that's going to be a good head coach. Um,
hmm
there were times this year where he did get heavily criticized and rightfully so, but I felt he did end the good season on a high note. Um, but yeah, I think he's going somewhere else as an offensive coordinator, maybe a head coach. I just
hmm
staying in Buffalo.
right. I also have him at a 2 out of 10.
Okay.
Um, I feel like this would be the most Buffalo Bill thing ever to hire him as a head coach, though. So I wouldn't put it past him. Um, but the reason, like you said, I don't think this is the route they're going to go. I feel like if that's the case, I feel like it was almost a little late to do it. I mean, I feel like you had this opportunity like a while ago. Um, not saying there was a good time to fire your coach or anything like that. But like you said, I'm more leaning with you on I don't think this is where the Bills want to go. I think he'll get another position, as an offense coordinator or a head coach, but I feel like it'd be on a younger team with a team that's like rebuilding and they want the younger guy and they can just kind of build from the ground up. So yeah, I would go 2 out of 10 also.
Yeah. Next name on the list, someone that was on your, I think on your short list on Facebook that I saw, Clint Kubiak,
Oh boy.
offensive coordinator. He's been the hot name this head coaching cycle, not just for our opening, but for many other openings. Um, I feel it might be a little bit lower than other people on this name, but I'm gonna have to give it a 6 out of 10.
Boo.
I know
6 out of 10.
I- I'm not saying this is someone that I would hate if we brought him in. Um, I don't know. It's just if I guess he deserves credit for what he has in Seattle. Don't get me wrong. And but we already have a good running game. If I know the Kubiaks, if anything, throughout the years, they're always good at the running game. But that's something we're already really excelling in.
Right.
So I kind of more so want an offensive mind that can really excel the passing game. Now he's done a decent job in Seattle, but it's not like that's like a top flight passing game to me. Yes, you have,
hmm
but we don't have a JSN on our team.
Right.
Hopefully, we somehow do that in the offseason, where it's for the draft, trade, whatever we do.
hmm
But I don't really think this is a slam dunk as many people think it is. It's not like Ben Johnson last year, where you're like for sure this guy is going to be the next hot offensive coach out there. I just everyone's just dying for that guy right now, and I'm not really quite certain it's Kubiak, but
I got you. All right, so you're at 6 out of 10. I'm at a 8.5 out of 10.
8.5 out of 10. So this is your top guy so far.
This is my top guy so far. The reason or reasoning behind it is because one, I feel like he is doing his thing with Seattle. I mean, look where they are. They're, arguably, going to be a Super Bowl team. They're one way a win from it. They look unstoppable at times. Like you said, we don't have a problem running the ball right now. and you want someone who can come in and maybe, be more pass aggressive and whatnot. Um, I feel like you said, we don't have the JSN like they do, but I feel like, and this is no shot at Sam Darnold because I mean, what he's been doing is remarkable, turning his career around, and you know what he did in Minnesota and now Seattle. I feel like if you gave Kubiak a guy like Allen, I feel like that would really set it over the top. Where that running game's already going to be good, no matter who's here, because that's just something we're good at already. I feel like he might be able to focus a little bit more on the passing side of things, or maybe even adjust to I don't want to say like a college style offense, but Allen can use his legs too. So maybe that's something you're not going to see Darnold, using his legs as much as Allen is.
Right.
So I feel like that's something that could benefit Kubiak as well. And doesn't he come from like that whole Shanahan or McVay coaching tree?
Yes, because
And
the dad coached with whatchamacallit, Mike Shanahan originally, like their dad.
right.
So
And
yeah,
I just feel like those guys have, like, all just have, like, so much success. Like, anyone that originates from, like, that tree is just, like, has so much success. I feel like, you know, I wouldn't be mad if they don't hire, Clint Kubiak. Also, I'm not gonna be standing on my desk right now jumping for joy if they hire him, but it would be somebody I definitely wouldn't mind because I feel like there's just so much upside.
hmm
So, yeah, I would go 8 out of 10 on that one.
yeah, I would. It's not something I would hate. Um, I
I just
definitely.
I feel like, not to cut you off, sorry, I feel like he would have a good setup with coordinators too. Like, I just kind of feel like it would, not saying it would flow all together right away, but I just feel like there wouldn't be maybe as many hiccups as we've seen like recently, where it's like, we look great one week and then we don't the next week, and then we look great and then we don't, and stuff like that. I'm not saying we're going to go undefeated or anything like that.
But yeah, Seattle has been pretty consistent this year, so I can definitely see that. I mean, it's not something I would be against. I think you're right. I think this might be the highest upside hire to where
Hmm.
like, or maybe I would say it's a tie between him and McDaniel probably for highest upside hire.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Or vice
McDaniel,
versa. Yeah.
yeah. Even though I do have McDaniel kind of low on the list, just because I think there's a lot of things that can go wrong. I am going to accept that there's a lot of things that can go right, and there's definitely a lot of things that can go right with Kubiak as well. Whereas, like, hey, he can make this offense unstoppable if you get him and make a couple good moves.
Right.
Um, so last name on the list. This is a name
I know where this is going.
we are all very familiar with. Odds on favorite to be the next Bills head coach currently, Brian Dable.
I knew that's where you're going.
So I think he was on your short list too on Facebook, if I'm not mistaken.
He was.
He was.
He
Floors.
was.
What? Why do you like Dable?
Why do I like Dable? Let me put the name down. I'll give you my ranking to start, okay?
All right.
So I had Kubiak. I just messed up my ranking as I'm writing it. I had Kubiak at an 8.5 out of 10. We're gonna put Dable at an 8.6 out of 10.
So Dable is your number one guy. So what's your why?
So me personally, this isn't. I'm not putting my ranking. I put it 8.6 out of 10, not because that's who I would most want to have, but I feel like that's just the most likely, if that makes sense.
Okay. So
So
so do you do you want him more than Kubiak? If you were making the decision, would you want him more than Kubiak?
I don't know, honestly. If I feel like I would probably put Kubiak maybe a little bit above. I mean, they're in the same tier for me.
Hmm.
It's almost to the point where it's just a coin flip for me.
Okay.
And the reason I have him at an 8.6 out of 10, my highest on the list, is because I feel like it's what makes the most sense, given he's been here. The relationship he has with Josh Allen is great. Um, I'm sure the relationship he has with, Pagula is great. I know there was some, maybe some bad blood between him and McDermott. Not sure if that spilled with, Dable and Bean at all. So for all we know, Bean and or Bean and Dable, sorry, could have a little bit of bad blood, and Dable might not even get an interview with us.
Hmm.
You know, who knows? Or it could not. But this one to me makes the most sense just because of the past. when he was here, I mean, he wanted to throw that ball every single play, and that's what I was hearing on the radio too. Is like, I'm listening to different guys' perspectives and stuff, and that's something I'm like, you're right. Like he wanted Allen to just go out there and just sling it, and I feel like there'd be a big adjustment though if he came here because I feel like we kind of had to stay at that run first offensive side of things because it's like it works.
Right.
And when it's working, that's when the play action, everything opens up. Not to get too much off the subject, but I just feel like the history he has here, maybe that's what he needed. He was here as the offensive coordinator. Maybe him having his own team and being able to bring in the guys around him that he wants. Maybe that's something. Maybe that's like all of a sudden that's just what he needed. Maybe that's maybe he needed his chance in the beginning. I mean, I'm not going to take the Giants head coaching spot when he was there and like reflect off of that. That's a completely different team, you know. So I'm not going to say he's going to fail because he failed in New York. Um, I just think this is the one that makes the most sense.
Now, that last point you said, I can agree with that to a certain extent. Obviously, I'm not expecting him to have the same success, you know what I mean, he have Josh Allen on the Giants, or even just him getting fired in the Giants and not going well.
Hmm.
My concern with him on the Giants is this year you just had so many blown leads, and it was just lack of game management by him. That's what really concerns me about Dable, and that's why I'm not sure if he's a head coach. I think
Hmm.
he's a great offensive coordinator, no doubt about it. Um, but I don't know if I'm sold on him leading a team. Now, it went great his first season with the Giants, obviously.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? Maybe he can bring back some of that magic.
That playoff team.
Yeah, but after that, I mean, no matter what team you're on, he was his record was pretty abysmal. I think after
Yeah.
the season, it was like 10-33 or something like that. Like that's putrid. You know what I mean? To put it simply,
Right.
and it was like he was just hanging on that playoff season with the Giants, and that's why they kept him along through that.
Whoops.
But
Right.
would things go better for Dable if he came back and was the head coach here? Yeah. Like, I don't think he's going 10-30 here. But
Right.
like those game management things that I think can affect us in big games in the playoffs and stuff like that that concern me. Um, I have him ranked as a 5 out of 10. And I want to say this too. I love Brian Dable. I love what
Hmm.
for Josh Allen's career, all of that. And if this did end up being a decision, I would love for Brian Dable to be our Super Bowl coach. You know, he's from here, he's from the area. I would root for him nonstop. Don't,
Right.
but I just have those concerns in my mind.
Right. No, which is definitely a good point because like you said, I mean, how many times have we seen you know management, during the game, especially late in the game and like a playoff game too, where it's just like, where it's like, man, we got like out coached during that.
Hmm.
Like, you know, what are we thinking? We're playing more not to lose than we are to win. So yeah, I definitely can understand that. But like you said, I got all love for Dable as well too. I would if I saw if I got the notification right now and I'm like, oh, Dable's hired in Buffalo, I'm like, all right, I'm all for it. Like so but let me ask, because I mean, wow, 38 minutes, man. We've been flowing with this.
Yeah, it's gone along easy too.
Yeah. So let me ask. So you personally, no particular order, who are the top three guys you want to see here? Like you would be perfectly fine with see here. They don't even have to be on this list.
Okay.
Um, but maybe they are on this list. Maybe they're not on this list. What three guys for you personally? No particular order. Who would you want to see here?
It's a tough one. I probably have to put Tomlin up there. I think
Hmm.
even though I don't think it happens, but if I'm at least trying to get that interview in and stuff like that, at least if I can have a conversation with Tomlin, see where his head's at, see how motivated he is to coach next season. Um,
Right.
but if he's not, and it looks like he's like, I might retire, I would just go away from that. I want someone that's hungry and wants it. Um,
Yeah.
I like Clint Kubiak. Out of all the names that we did say, um, I do like Brian Flores. And I don't know if it happens. I know we've said that, I don't know if they go back to a defensive guy, but that guy is a heck of a defensive coordinator. And I think if he gets another
Right.
head coach, I think he's going to really flourish. And you give it a guy that's able to call a defense like that with Josh Allen as his quarterback. Like I don't know. I feel like he would have like a D'Amico Ryan's effect on our defense with the way how D'Amico
Yeah, that's
Ryan
a good point.
how D'Amico Ryans has really, you know what I mean, had that Houston defense basically carry that team to the divisional round, and then you
Right.
pair that up with having Josh Allen as your quarterback. I think that can be a deadly combination. Who does he get as his offensive coordinator? I'd love to know that as well. Maybe you can get Brian Dable as your offensive coordinator. Maybe you can get Mike McDaniel as your offensive coordinator in that scenario. So that's something I think it's a very that's one that I don't think is going to happen. I don't think a lot of people are going to talk about it, but I
Mhm. But we're gonna talk about it.
yeah, but we're gonna.
Um, honestly, no, you're making me, kinda buy into that a little bit,
Mhm.
um, with Flores, because I like what you said about that, D'Amico Ryan effect. Like you said, if we could get Flores and as our head coach and you're telling me McDaniel or Dable's coming along to be the offensive coordinator, I'm signing up for that.
Because
I'm all in.
because my opinion is that I'm more concerned about our defense right now. McDermott really got that defense to play to a higher level than I thought. Now, hopefully, this offseason, you can get some better players in there, and we can get that defense back to being an elite status. You're
Right.
be good no matter what. And especially if you give, you know what I mean, a certain offensive coordinator like a Mike McDaniel or so, who would just be focused solely on the offense, and you have him working with Josh Allen, I think that could make a very deadly combination.
Yeah, for sure, I get that. What about 2 guys that we didn't mention?
Let's go with it. What talk about the first. Talk about one at a time.
I'm talking about, like, swinging for the fences, like, probably never gonna happen.
Okay, so what
1, Kyle Shanahan.
I d- if we're able to somehow pull that off, he's number one on the list.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly, like, bring him in right now.
What would you get? Would you trade a first round pick for him?
A first round pick. This year's first round pick, what do I think we're at 26 or something like that?
This year's first
Um,
pick.
okay, so we're sitting at 26.
All it takes is that, and Kyle Shanahan's on your team.
Just a first round pick, that's it.
We'll say just a first round pick. Yes.
Yeah, I'd do it.
Okay.
I would do it because I know we're kinda in, like, cap hell right now. Excuse my language, I don't know what we can say on here. Cap HE double hockey stick, and, but there's a lot of restructures I think we're gonna see or, like, releases that I saw, like, the Bills can, like, free up, like, almost, like, 50 or 60 million cap space, like, by doing certain things. Doesn't mean they're gonna do it.
Mhm.
Um, but, I think and I feel like that's one thing Bean is actually very good at is, like, always getting to that cap number and always having some cap available as the season goes on. So I will give him that. I know he's been getting a lot of bad talk today, which should be fired, but definitely something he does right. And are you ready for this next guy?
Let's go with it.
This guy might be number one on your list.
Who is it?
John Gruden, baby.
I only didn't. I only didn't say this because I don't think it's gonna happen, but
I don't think it's gonna happen either, but man, that would be sweet.
I would love John Gruden. Uh,
That would be sweet.
he would be he'd be number two on my list behind Shanahan. If we're going,
Oh, you're putting him at two. I
I
know that's
would
your boy.
if we were doing this on like the rankings, I would have ranked Gruden a 9.
Yeah.
Like I feel Gruden would be great for the offense. He definitely would know someone that he can bring in as a good defensive coordinator, in my
Oh
opinion.
yeah.
He worked well with Derek Carr just not so long ago. Imagine him with Josh and just the offensive mind that he would be able to bring in. I mean, I still think he's one of the best offensive minds in the league. And another great thing about John Gruden, he knows Andy Reid like the back of his hand. So
Oh yeah.
I would love John Gruden to come.
All right, I'm gonna have to start wrapping things up. I'm on 10% here.
I'm on 2, so let's wrap it up.
All right, one last thing I want to say before we end this. Um, we'll keep things fresh. I know, it's the end of the season, at least for us, but I know you can do a lot with the basketball and stuff like that. So,
Mhm,
especially on like TikTok and stuff. So, we'll keep things fresh for the off season. Got a lot talked about, and a lot to still talk about with the head coach. But to McDermott, I just want to say, I know you started off with it. Thanks for everything, man. I mean, he turned this culture around so much. I mean, growing up, man, we knew 7-9 every year. We knew 6-10. Maybe if we got lucky, we knew 8-8.
yeah.
But I mean, he made being a Bills fan so much more fun. Like, dude, it was just a complete turnaround. He didn't just help this team become a playoff team, like, he set the culture, like, he helped like, he did everything for the whole organization, like, there was a complete something we never seen before.
Yeah,
So, I mean, this is something where it's like, man, like, I didn't necessarily agree with it. I mean, I know it's a business, it's what's the biggest way to keep your job? Win and win the big games. So, unfortunately, we weren't able to do that. I mean, I feel he was up there with Allen as, like, somebody who really fit the Buffalo vibe for the community, for the team, and someone who really wanted to win it for the fans.
yeah. Just to piggyback off that, I definitely agree with everything you said times 10. Like, he, if it wasn't for Sean McDermott, we would not have gotten as far as we did a lot of seasons and get to this point. Even if we did win a Super Bowl next year, I'd want to almost send him a ring too, because
Yeah,
he set everything in place for it to happen.
for
So,
sure.
I mean, like you said, he made being a fan fun again. He brought back winning. And any team that gets him, and obviously none of these teams are gonna care about what we say and stuff like that. But if you're a team like the Arizona Cardinals, the Tennessee Titans, maybe a team like that, you need someone that's gonna set the culture for you, bring back winning. I mean, you would be lucky to have a coach like
Oh,
Sean McDermott. He's a
100%.
great coach, great man, and he is, what I mean. And this is a move that could backfire. I mean, for all we know, you know what I mean.
Right.
And I hope, and I know a lot of people are celebrating this move and stuff like that, but I'm not someone that's gonna be like that. So I think Sean McDermott is still a great coach, and I hope he goes to an NFC team so I can still root for him in most cases. And I don't
For
want to play.
sure.
I think he would be a pain. He would be a pain in the what if we had to play him every year.
Oh, for sure.
But that's gonna do it from the Last Seed podcast. I appreciate everyone that came in and watched. But until next time, peace out.